Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Wednesday, September 25th, 2024, and these are your unbiased updates. Tropical Storm Helene is fast approaching Florida with the potential to form into the biggest hurricane to hit the United States in over a year. We have the latest track. And former President Donald Trump is briefed by U.S. intelligence officials on threats from Iran to assassinate him. We have what the campaign and the former president are saying.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
Evacuations are underway in Florida as Tropical Storm Helene rapidly intensifies as it takes aim at the state's Gulf Coast. Hurricane warnings are already in place for a large portion of northwest Florida, as well as Mexico's eastern coast. The National Hurricane Center's latest updates have Helene on track to make landfall in the Sunshine State late Thursday as a Category 3 hurricane. Meteorologists say Helene will be extremely large and powerful, impacting the southeast far beyond just Florida. They say torrential rains, potentially life-threatening winds, and storm surge, as well as tornado threats will be issued throughout the area. The last Category 3 hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. was Idalia last year, which also made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region and brought record-breaking storm surge to most of the state's western coast. In Washington, the U.S. House and Senate are both on track to pass a stopgap funding bill today that will avert a government shutdown early next week. The measure would keep federal agencies funded at their current levels through December 20th. It also sets aside an additional $231 million to bolster the budget for the Secret Service. This comes as concerns over the agency's efficacy continue to mount in the wake of two assassination attempts against former President Donald Trump. While the stopgap bill is the brainchild of Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, many in his party still say they will vote no, forcing House GOP leadership to rely on Democratic votes to pass it. Turning to the presidential election now, the Trump campaign saying the former president has been informed by U.S. intelligence officials about threats from Iran to assassinate him. In a statement Tuesday, a Trump campaign spokesperson saying, quote, President Trump was briefed earlier today by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence regarding real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him in an effort to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. According to the campaign, the officials told Trump these coordinated attacks have heightened in the past few months, and government agencies are working to protect the Republican presidential nominee and the upcoming election. Trump later posting on Truth Social that there have been big threats on his life by Iran, saying, while they didn't work out, Iran will try again. Iran's permanent mission to the United Nations in New York has not responded to media requests for a statement. This news comes after two assassination attempts on the former president, one in Butler, Pennsylvania, and another at his Florida golf course. There has been no indication of Iranian involvement in either case. In a related note, the Senate has unanimously passed a House bill that would bolster Secret Service security for presidential candidates, sending the bill to the White House for President Joe Biden to sign. The measure, known as the Enhanced Security Act, cleared the House last week. The bill would require an equal standard of protection be applied to presidents and all major party candidates. The bill is not expected to make a difference in the level of protection Donald Trump receives, as the Secret Service says he was already under the highest level of protection at the time of both assassination attempts. Caroline Ellison, a top executive with the former cryptocurrency leader FTX, was sentenced to 2 years in prison on Tuesday in connection to a fraud scheme that stole $8 billion from investors and customers. The judge and prosecutors agreeing to give Ellison a lighter sentence after she pleaded guilty and testified against FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried and her former boyfriend during his trial in November. He was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison. The judge calling Ellison's cooperation, quote, very, very substantial, but added a prison sentence was necessary because she participated in what could possibly be the, quote, greatest financial fraud ever perpetrated in this country or anywhere else. Ellison is set to report to prison November 7th. Finally this morning, soda or pop drinkers are having flashbacks to the new Coke Miss of the 1980s as Coca-Cola is pulling another version of its signature beverage off store shelves just 7 months after its debut. Coca-Cola Spiced, which went on sale in February as the newest entry in Coke's permanent lineup, will now no longer be available. A Coca-Cola spokesperson saying in a statement on Tuesday, "We're always looking at what our customers like and adjusting our range of products. As part of this strategy, we're planning to phase out Coca-Cola Spiced to introduce an exciting new flavor in 2025. The company said earlier this year the spiced soda was part of its strategy to innovate and respond to industry trends. It added the flavor was developed in 7 weeks as opposed to 12 months, plus that it takes typically for the company to develop a new product. So much for the old slogan, have a Coke and a smile. These are your unbiased updates for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.